Welcome back, everyone, to 2-on-1 Fast Break Podcast. I'm Sean Kennedy, joined as always by our NFL handicapper, Dan Erta. Dan, I feel like you missed your golden opportunity last week. We didn't have a podcast. You were coming off a winning week. It was really your time to shine, and we unfortunately weren't able to take advantage of that and seize the moment.
Yeah, but for the second straight week, the game that I teased and put into multiple plays didn't come through for me because of a last-minute game-winning drive by the opposition. So it's never good when that happens.
No, so yeah, you did go with another couple teasers this past week. You did post an article with your picks for Week 6. And just for those that didn't see, those were the Jets -1, Seattle -1 in a two-team teaser, New England -3, Seattle -1 in another two-team teaser.
It's all good, except for the Seattle.
And then finally your third pick was Detroit -3 against the Bears. So, yeah, what you're alluding to is that Seattle game where, unfortunately, Carolina had a very good fourth quarter, came back to win that game 27-23. In Seattle, Dan, what are you seeing out of the Seahawks right now?
I don't think they're that good, and I think that the struggles are real. That's not going to stop me from betting on them again this week because I think they're playing one of the three worst teams in the NFL. But, yeah, this team is just a mess. They don't really have an identity. I think that their idea of trading for Jimmy Graham to make their offense better has completely backfired, and it's kind of just left them. Last year they didn't have any stars on their offense, but they had an identity, and it was everyone just did his part. And now it's this guy's not getting enough catches, and this guy Jimmy Graham won't block, and it's just a mess. The defense is giving up more points per game than they have in the last couple of years. You know, it might just be that you go to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. It's going to wear and tear on you a little bit. And
I think it's also just the fact that they've had so much success. They had to give out a lot of big contracts to guys, and they've really become a top-heavy team. They have a few stars that are getting such a high percentage of their salary cap with these big deals, and before they were rotating. Like on the D line, they had
all about that.
Yeah, they had like an 8-man rotation on the defensive line of just really solid NFL players, and now they have Michael Bennett and one or two other guys, but behind them they don't really have anyone. So their top guys are having to play a much higher percentage of the snaps. They're not as rested when they are in the game as a result of that, and then the guys that are coming in and subbing in for them just aren't nearly as good.
And you know what? They can have Byron Maxwell back if they want him, though.
Yeah.
They can take him back.
Yeah, they can, hand us $63 million. I think we would do that deal.
Just pretend that never happened. He goes back.
I do like Walter Thurman. We did get Walter Thurman from him, though.
Absolutely.
Also, he was a steal. So, yeah, just, two of their secondary guys from last year. And
here's the thing. I knew this going into last week.
Yeah.
I still thought that at home against a team whose number one wide receiver was Ted Ginn Jr., they'd be able to win the game.
Is that official? It's not Corey Philly Brown?
Corey Philly Brown or Devin Funchess. No, I don't know who it is. They're all number 3 receivers.
Yeah, I think Cam Newton's probably their number 1 receiver just by default. But yeah, Carolina, that was kind of their test. It was the first time they were playing a quote-unquote legitimate team. They'd beaten up on a lot of bad teams in their first 4 wins, and everyone kind of wanted to know if they were for real. So early returns looks like the Panthers are for real.
I still don't think they are, but I think they lose this week. I'm just not putting that in my plays this week because I have too much emotionally invested in the game that I don't want to be financially invested as well.
Yeah, Sunday night, the Birds are traveling down to Carolina. Also traveling down to Carolina is yourself, as you'll be in attendance to witness firsthand what hopefully is... for Philly fans is an Eagles win.
It is my first time ever being at an Eagles game in an opposing team stadium, so it should be an experience.
Yeah. Is this a situation where you can't wear the jersey?
Oh, I'm wearing the jersey. Although the jersey that I wear is from a player that played 1 year on the Eagles in 1996 and then tore his ACL the next preseason and never played again. So that kind of minimizes the impact of rocking the jersey.
Was it a linebacker?
That was a wide receiver, Chris T. Jones.
I had a Chris T. Jones jersey.
Maybe you took it to the thrift shop and I found it there.
Yeah, maybe it was a Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants situation, and you now have my Chris T. Jones jersey. But yeah, that should be a fun time, and we'll see how the Eagles look. They certainly have been very much up and down, not only from week to week, but on a drive-to-drive basis. Yeah, they're one of the more volatile teams in the league right now.
So,
But
weekly reminder that Sam Bradford's agent highballed them on an extension after the preseason game against Green Bay
yeah,
when they were doing everything they could to
to,
lock him down
to
for a
get
long
Sam
time.
Bradford a max deal, and yeah, he's not getting a max deal, everybody. So nice try there, Bradford's agent.
Yeah.
Um, But so the Seattle game last week cost you in both of those teasers. Obviously, they didn't cover, taking the L. So even though the Patriots won and covered the -3, and the Jets won 34-20 over Washington, those two teasers were both losses. Um, the Detroit game ended up being a push
Push.
for you.
That went from it looked like it was going to be an easy winner, and then it looked like it was going to be a loser.
Yeah, it was a really crazy finish as game went into overtime. Detroit ended up winning 37-34 for the push at -3. Anything you learned or you can take away from that game there, Dan?
Those two teams deserve each other. They should just play each other every week.
Just let the
Let the
actual playoff
yeah,
contenders.
let Stafford and Cutler go head to head every week, and the rest of the teams can just play.
Yeah, that would probably be the best thing to revitalize both of those quarterbacks' careers. But yeah, I love how Stafford will flash one of these games every so often, and then get everybody's hopes up again, and then think, oh, maybe this is when Stafford finally turns it around.
He's an eighth-year pro right
even
now.
though he's an eighth-year pro, exactly. I think the book's out on Matt Stafford. This is all he's ever going to be, really. But anyway, a push. So an 0-2 in 1 week for you, unfortunately, last week, bringing your total up to a grisly 9-22-2 record on the year.
I wasn't even going to say the record anymore.
You know,
I don't care about the record
we're
anymore.
all about accountability here. So we just got to mention that. So if you want to be on hashtag Team Fade Dan, you're still very much
There's room on the train.
there's room on that bandwagon for sure. All right, but we will plow ahead and we'll look at your Week 7 plays. You got five plays on the docket for this week. And we'll start with a team you've talked a lot about already, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. They're on the road in the Thursday night game against San Francisco, and they're giving 6 points. And even though they burned you last week, you're going with them again. So you like Seattle -6 here.
Yeah, I'm stubborn. I'm real stubborn. But this isn't really a bet on Seattle as much as it's a fade of San Fran. They've looked decent the last 2 weeks, but I think we're getting a little bit of value because of that. They look decent against the Giants, who lost by 20 to Philadelphia, despite their quarterback playing one of the worst games I've ever seen a quarterback play. They played a really good game against Baltimore, who seems to be giving up 400 yards of offense at least every week. So they've looked a lot better. Basically, Kaepernick is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league if he's pressured, and if he has time, he can make things happen. I think he gets pressured, and I know I sound like a broken record, but Seattle needs this win to save their season, so I think that they have enough veteran leadership and enough of the been there, done that on the team to show up. I don't think San Francisco is going to score more than 10 points in this game. Unfortunately, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be
I
a
was going
cover.
to say, yeah, kind of stay away from me. These Thursday night games, they're always ugly, it seems like, and the way Seattle's been playing, it's not really a team I feel comfortable backing, giving that many points on the road. And the Niners, they've looked a little bit better lately.
For sure, they're bad. They're bad.
Yeah, they're not. They're certainly not a good team, but are they a team that they're going to try to run the ball, and the defense has been okay.
Hyman can be playing.
That's true. I mean, that's certainly something to keep an eye on, whether Carlos Hyde is in the lineup or not.
Jared Haynes breakout game.
You gotta love those rugby stars.
Yeah.
They're always out there. You just gotta find them. So, yeah, like I said, it's a stay away from me. It's a lot of points on the road for a team that I don't think's very good themselves in Seattle. So when you got two bad teams, I don't like either side giving that many points. Kind of like what we saw with the Chiefs when they were giving 9 to Chicago, or it's a similar kind of spot for me. You think, oh well, this team, they're playing a really bad team, so I like them, but maybe they're not good either. So I don't feel comfortable giving that many points. But you like Seattle -6 there in the Thursday night game. Moving on to games taking place on Sunday, you have a resurgent Miami Dolphins team giving 4 points at home against the Texans. So coming off the coaching change, Dan Campbell said they're gonna start hitting more in practice. They're gonna get back to the running game, And whatever he did, it seemed to pay off last week as they won, and so they're at home against Houston here, and you like them giving 4.
I do. I think it's one more week that we're going to be able to have some value because of how bad the Dolphins started out. But they really look like the team we thought they were going to be. I mean, they were people.
So they are who we thought they were.
Now I don't know. Some people had them as like a Super Bowl sleeper. Some people went a little bit overboard with Dolphins. Like they were the standard off-season champions. People liked the moves they made, and they came out really flat. I just think they're good enough to beat a really bad Houston team at home.
Yeah, Houston has looked. They're just terrible. They're really an awful team. Their defense, despite J.J. Watt's best efforts, have been really poor all season long. I think Miami did, there's always a lot of bluster when a new coach takes over and says we're going to do things differently. But most of the time they don't really change too much. But they did show a recommitment to the running game. Lamar Miller got 20 touches for the first time all season, and so I think that that more balanced attack is going to serve them well moving forward.
And just players playing harder for the guy. I know that's kind of a cliche a little bit, but coaches.
Yeah,
their voice gets old.
They seem to really tune out Philbin.
Yeah,
and the move to Campbell, if nothing strategically, just a fresh start for some of the guys, a breath of fresh air in the locker room. So Miami -4. The extra, I would
You wish it was 3.
I really wish it was 3. But I certainly think they're going to win this game here. So I'm comfortable taking that side as well. Moving along, we have a big AFC East battle. We got the New York Jets. They're on the road against New England. New England didn't quite lay the smackdown against Indianapolis last week, but everyone thought they would. But they did win, and they're still undefeated on the season.
I specifically wrote in the column that they weren't going to win it by as much as everyone thought they would. I just happened to pick the wrong partner to tease them with.
Right. So you just should have paired them with the Jets, this week's opponent. So Jets are getting 9 points this week. It's Jets +9, and you like being on the Jets side here.
Yeah, the Jets are pretty much kicking ass and taking names. They lost the game to the Eagles. Other than that, they're winning by double digits on a weekly basis. Obviously, the Patriots are significantly better than the teams they've been playing, but they're a good team. They're a well-rounded team. I mean, the Jets are, as an organization, they've preached defense for over a decade now, but now they have some offense to go with it. They have Ivory running like Marshawn Lynch right now, and I do feel like every year Ryan Fitzpatrick has like 4 good games to start the year, and people get excited, and then he comes back to life.
The classic Ryan Fitzpatrick 4 interception game.
It is coming, but I just think that this is the game. I think that it's in the division game. The teams know each other well. The Jets are going to keep it close, and by far, this is the best defensive line that the Patriots have faced yet this year, and they have a little bit of injury issues on their offensive line. It wouldn't surprise me if Brady throws a couple picks here.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Jets they've just been really solid all season long, and I think the way to beat the Patriots is to run the ball against them and try to keep Brady off the field as much as possible. And Jets are maybe as much as anyone really equipped to do that. Chris Ivory has been terrific all season. Brandon Marshall has been a legitimate number 1 receiver.
And when he's not trying to lateral the ball to teammates in the middle of the play.
To Jeff Cumberland. Because when you see a tight end a few yards behind you, you just have to get him the ball in that situation. But yeah, that was a huge gaffe that week against the Eagles. But other than that, he's been terrific all season.
Great. Eric Decker's been good when he's healthy.
Yeah, so
which he is now.
I think
good team.
I think they'll be able to move the ball, and
I don't think the Jets are. I don't think there's any team in the NFL that the Jets are an easy win for.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the line is bumped up a few points just because it's the Patriots. They have the name value. They're undefeated, and I just the Jets. It's those divisional games, and I always think with the NFC East, I always like to predict a close game just because teams know each other so well, and I think the AFC East is pretty similar. So 9 points, a lot of points.
You can always predict a close game in the NFC East just because none of the teams are any good. So.
That's true, unless the Eagles force 7 turnovers against the Giants or something. So Jets getting 9 here. You like the Jets. I like that side as well. All right, so we have a 2-team teaser for your next play. You like Tampa Bay getting 9, so that line's bumped up from 3 to 9. They're on the road against Washington, and Arizona bumping that down to -2.5 from they're at 8.5 currently, and they're the Monday night game at home against Baltimore. Dan, start first with the Buccaneers and tell us why you like that side.
The Redskins having to win this game by double digits is why I like that side a lot. I don't think they can do that. They're finally being exposed. Their weakness is their secondary. The one good thing that Tampa Bay has is some good wide receivers. I think Tampa Bay could very well win this game. Teasing it up over a touchdown makes me feel very comfortable. I don't see either team blowing out the other one here.
All right. Couple other things I'll mention. Matt Jones questionable for this one.
Yes.
And that adds takes away a dynamic to their offense. They'll rely more on Alfred Morris, obviously, and Chris Thompson, who's been their third down back.
Yeah, solid PPR guy.
Yep, but I agree. I mean, I feel like we always say this with these teasers. Like, there's a reason the lines are where they are, so it feels.
No, anytime you tease a line,
you're getting more points.
It's going to look good. That's why it's hard to talk about a teaser side.
Right. So I'm trying to also construct a scenario in my head where Washington wins by double digits. It's tough for me to see that. All right.
They're starting to get restless in Washington with the whole Kirk Cousins thing.
Yeah, there's all the interceptions that he's been throwing.
I think they had a couple games where the team as a whole looked pretty decent. They beat the Eagles. They had a couple games where they kept close, but they're slowly starting to become the dumpster fire that we predicted before the season started.
Yeah, I mean, other than Cousins, their team's been pretty good. Their defense has been a lot better than people have expected.
Defense has been better.
The running game's okay. It's not bad. Yeah, I think that's kind of why the focus has shifted to Cousins and how bad he's been playing because everybody else on their team has been so good.
And the word is that the players on the team, if they were to pull Cousins, want Colt McCoy to go in. They don't even want RG3 to play if Cousins isn't. The fans want RG3. Yeah.
Like, I'd really like to know what the inner dynamics of that locker room is. It just seems like they hate him so much.
Yeah, in a span of about 3 months, I've gone from when people talked about like RG3 to the Eagles rumors, I've gone from, oh, stop with those stupid hot takes.
Yeah.
I've gone from that to, well, it can't be worse than Bradford.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it could be. Based on what we've seen from Griffin the last year and a half or so that he's actually gotten into games.
I'm honest, I've been saying for years, I've been arguing with people on Twitter for a while, I don't think the book is closed on RG3 and his career, but that's just something we're going to see in time.
Yeah. He needs whatever you think about him, I think it's pretty evident at this point that he needs a new home. Yes. It's not going to work for him in Washington. All right. Of course, the other side of that teaser is Arizona. You're teasing that down to -2.5.
Under a field goal against a terrible team at home.
Yeah, not a lot else to see there. Arizona's very good at home, even more than your typical home team. They're excellent there.
They're giving up so many passing yards per game. Carson Palmer should have a field day.
Yeah, Baltimore, one of the worst passing defenses in the league up to this point, and that's what the Cardinals like to do. Is should play right into their hands. So that's the side I wouldn't worry at all about of this teaser. So watch Baltimore keep it close and lose by
on
one
a fourth quarter drive, like all my teasers have been losing.
Right, and they go for 2 to try to tie the game. It doesn't convert, and they lose by 2. But yeah, I certainly like that side more than the other side, just because who knows with Tampa Bay. I don't really know what to expect from them, but that's the teaser. Tampa Bay +9 and Arizona -2.5. And the fifth and final play for your Week 7 slate is a total. You like the Oakland-San Diego game to go over 47.5. That game is in San Diego. Oakland coming off the bye, and Phillip Rivers coming off a game against Green Bay where he threw for 500 yards in a loss.
Yes.
So I assume you're taking all of that into account, and that's why you like the over here, huh?
It's a leave your defense at home game. Yeah.
Khalil Mack will be disappointed. He doesn't get to participate.
Hey, it stinks because Khalil Mack's great, the same way J.J. Watt's great, but that doesn't make a unit great.
Yeah.
Neither one's good.
They should join forces somehow.
David Carr has been throwing the ball 40 to 50 times a game too. It's when you have quarterbacks who throw the ball a lot, the way Rivers and Carr do, that means a lot of interceptions, less time off the clock, more time to score points. I think this game is played in the high 20s for both sides.
All right. Couple things with that. The San Diego pass defense has actually been one of the better pass defenses in the league. So maybe that's something where Oakland has a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, but they might struggle because they're playing at home.
That's true. As some of you out there may remember, San Diego in a home game earlier this season against the Steelers, they had about 40 to 50% of the crowd waving terrible towels
Yeah, I
and
think that was the
rooting
night
on
that
Pittsburgh.
that night sealed their fate as moving to Los Angeles.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for the franchise sticking around in San Diego, and certainly stuff like that doesn't help their cause to have an opposing team just about outnumber them in their home stadium. So they certainly don't have a home field advantage. And then, just as far as the San Diego offensive line is concerned, they're missing multiple starters there. Rivers he's just pulling a magician's act to even get passes off some of these times.
That's what he does, and he's going to keep doing that.
Yeah, that's what he does. I'm fine. I'm fine with the over here. I honestly think it's pretty fairly capped, though. I don't see it going over too much more than the 47.5. But yeah, a 27-24 game. That certainly seems well within the realm of possibility. So that is the Week 7 slate. To recap, Seattle -6 on the road against San Fran. Dolphins -4 at home against Houston. The Jets +9 on the road in New England. A two-team teaser with Tampa Bay getting 9 and Arizona going down to -2.5. And finally, Oakland, San Diego over 47.5. So hopefully, Dan, get back on the winning track.
Hopefully we'll have some winners to talk about next week, as well as a Carolina trip report.
So keep us informed for everything that goes down in Carolina. Where are your seats?
I saw the only time I've seen the tickets were on a Snapchat, and I saw that I think they're very high up.
Very high up.
Yes, I don't think they're very good seats, but
okay.
I'm not really worried about it. I'm just happy to be in the building.
Yeah, I'm sure the undefeated Panthers are getting good attendance.
Yeah.
So there's probably not a lot of good seats just out there on those secondary ticket forums.
Also, the tickets were a treat of the buddy who we're visiting, so I don't expect them to get us a club box.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice of him.
It was a very, very nice move.
There you go. So, all right, enjoy Carolina and enjoy Week 7. Everybody, we'll check in with you next week.
Good luck.